If you're a heat and air conditioning technician and you're looking at a furnace and you find a crack in a heat exchanger, what do you do if the homeowner's asking you to get it up and running, and why does it matter? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Silvenbell, coming to you live for HVAC Technician Sales Secrets on a perfect day to talk about sales and business, and a fantastic day to talk about you. I'm coming to you live from Sacramento. All right, at some point, here's what's going to happen. You are going to end up at a furnace or a package unit, and you're going to go through this thing, and you are going to locate a crack in the heat exchanger. And there are times where the crack produces no carbon monoxide, and then there are times where you're like, oh my goodness, this is producing a lot. And it may be freezing outside, and the homeowner comes to you and says, you are going to fix my furnace no matter what. Now, you have some decisions to make. You may have rules that govern what you do by your organization, by your state, by your jurisdiction, by your county, by your parish, whatever area that you live in, that says, here's what it takes for me to condemn a furnace, okay? You may have a conversation with a manager or an owner saying, here's my situation. I always had the belief, right? I'm not a doctor, lawyer, attorney, marriage counselor, therapist, but I am a taco enthusiast. So I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm just sharing with you my view of what could be done. So I always was of the opinion of I can just give you some blankets and have you be safe for the night versus having to worry about you and come back later and have something bad happen. And there are people who just, they don't want to hear it. They just don't want to be uncomfortable. They'll say, oh, I'll get a carbon monoxide detector. That's a bad move. Like if you ever read what the parts per million are for a carbon monoxide detector, they may or they may not go off. Sometimes you may have to get your local jurisdiction involved, like the utility company, and say, hey, we've got a problem here. Sometimes it comes down to getting a fire department involved. I can think of a time not too far from where I'm sitting right now. I was on a roof and it was right around Christmas. And this package unit was known for having the cells blow out in the back. I mean, I could put my fist in this thing. And the homeowner was like, you are going to get my renter's unit up and running. And I went downstairs and I told the renter, I'm not touching this thing. Every cell was blown out, all four of them. They were gone. So much so that if I turned the furnace on, it was pushing flames into the cabinet. It was a fire hazard. I'm like, I'm not doing this. You absolutely positively have to make the decision of like, what am I going to do? And sometimes this is going to come down to management. This is why you should join HVACTechSecrets.com. I'll give you the goods. Not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel. It's private coaching, private training, discounted coaching, discounted training. It's an email publication. You get emails from me, right? That's what happens. So there is going to be a point where someone's going to tell you, you are going to get this up and running, and I'm telling you, you're going to. And it's going to be a headbutt of personalities, and you're just going to have to make a decision. You might have to rely on an owner. You may have to rely on a manager. You may have to rely on a third party. Now, I will share something with you. I have a domain, crackedheatexchanger.com, and I got tired of homeowners complaining to me about brands, and so I pulled it down. But I have been through heat exchanger class more times than you can count. I've got more certificates for it than are just could be imaginable. And at the end of the day, it's a failed part. So manufacturers don't ask about carbon monoxide. Manufacturers don't go down this path. They just look at the part. They're like, is it broken or not? Is it a failed part or not? They kind of look at things like airlines. Is it bad? If it's bad, we'll replace it. And the reason for that is they don't want to get in this argument. So you have to get really good at just saying it is a failed part. Well, it's not producing carbon monoxide. It's not about producing carbon monoxide. It's not producing flame rollout. It's not about that. And you may disagree. That's cool, right? But I have been through this information more times than you can count, and I'm going to share with you. Go through it. If you don't believe me, Find the manufacturer's printout about what the warranty is on the system, and it's just going to say if it has a failed heat exchanger. And then if you reach out to the manufacturer and say define failed, and I say if it's got a crack that's visible, that's a failed part. That's a failed part. I can't tell you how many times as a tech I would go up against companies that did not know this, right? So we would show up and they would go, well, it's not producing carbon monoxide. And I go, great, let's pull up the warranty. Show me on here where it says anything about carbon monoxide. And they're like, we can't find it. Great. Show me on here where it says failed part. And they would say, like, if the part is failed, it is under warranty for 10 years or 20 years or a lifetime. Like, we got to go by what the warranty says, not by what you say. You're making up your own rules. If it's got a crack, it's failed. If it's producing carbon monoxide, it's failed. If it's not producing carbon monoxide, it's failed. If it's got flame rolled out, it's failed. If it's not producing flame rolled out, it's failed as long as it's cracked. As long as there's a visible crack, that's a failed part. That's just the way that it is. You got one of three things to do from here. Just one of three. Find the subscribe button, click on it, and every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, you know what you got to do. Share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.